How the heck is everybody? Welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. It is me, Captain Logan, and look, it's also my chat moderator and producer, logo maker guy. DJ wears many, many hats. His name is DJ Martinez, and it's time for episode 302 of the Captain Logan Show. Hey, you know what we do here? We tell you about a big news item of the week, and if nothing really interesting is happening that we really want to talk about, then we just answer questions. But tonight we have a topic that I knew would come up regardless, so I figured we would make it the lead-in topic. We're going to talk about the casting for the Silver Surfer in the MCU Fantastic Four movie, and the fact that they're going with kind of a real different choice in going with Shalla-Bal instead of Norrin Radd, doing a female Silver Surfer. Already drumming up a lot of controversy and stuff. Figured we'd put in our 2 cents on that, but we will also answer questions about that topic or anything else you want to talk to through the hour. We will once again just be going ostensibly an hour this evening. If at any point there is something you want us to talk about, you can leave a super chat at any dollar amount that guarantees that we will talk about your topic. And thanks a lot to anybody who has done or ever will do that. If you don't want to do that, can't do that, you can leave a regular question. We'll try to answer some of those as well. And by regular question, I mean write a question in the comments and make sure to tag DJ Martinez or Films by Color or Still the Welder. He will answer to any of those things and more. DJ, I like your jacket. Does it keep you safe when you're jogging at night?
It keeps me safe when I'm live streaming at night, yes. You never know. You never know when a brisk gust.
Look, to a conversation we were having before we started broadcasting, you might need to make sure that you're wearing something that would keep you safe inside your own house. Because I told DJ that I got some equipment. I've officially started spending money on the Superhero Rewind movie. So now I really have to make the thing. We've raised money, and so already, I've got to make the movie. But it would have been complicated. But if I really wanted to, turn tail on it, I guess I could have given it all back. Now I've spent some of that money. I bought equipment. So I really have to do it now. But I told DJ I've been so busy this week that I got $200 worth of new filmmaking, movie making equipment in the mail over the last 2 days, and I haven't had a chance to look at any of it yet. It's still in the boxes. And DJ was like, "Be careful, because somebody will steal that." And I'm like, "It's all in my basement. They could steal anything else that's down here too. Why does the fact that I have new stuff in boxes?" Why does that equate to somebody's going to steal it? But see, that's why I need a jacket like DJ's, because somebody might just break into my house and start taking new things I've bought.
They might break into your tick room and steal all your tick stuff. I
don't think there's any danger.
You get the one criminal who breaks into your house and is like, "Holy crap, he's a tick fan."
Well, it's tick stuff. I gotta have that.
He turns to his buddy, "You know how much this costs on eBay?"
DJ had this really brilliant notion. I'm just see. We were riffing for a minute before the show, and I was like, I wish we were broadcasting all this. DJ had this brilliant notion of criminals that, while they're on the run, have their own podcast. And I was like, that's genius, because if they get a big enough audience, they could just stop being criminals. They might not need to do that to support themselves.
Dilemma. That's the moral dilemma. Because do they stop, or do they fall in love with the fame?
Yeah,
they have to keep doing crimes even though they're rich. It's brilliant. This is Cap's next movie.
I was gonna say there's a movie in that, isn't there?
We've just written Cap's next film.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and just jump right into things tonight. Thanks a lot for being here, folks. If you're watching live, thanks for watching after the fact. If you're doing that instead, let's go ahead and get into the news that is fit to print this week. DJ, I had been hearing this rumor of a female Silver Surfer in the new Fantastic Four movie, but we didn't have it confirmed until the last couple of days. This comes from Slash Film, but of course everybody is reporting on this and commenting on this. Marvel's Fantastic Four movie has found its female Silver Surfer in an actress named Julia Garner, who is really well liked. I don't know if I've seen her in anything. She's in a show called Ozark that I've never watched. Have you seen her in things?
That's the show that I told you should check out. That's similar to kind of Breaking Bad style, about he gets caught up in the drug ring in the Ozarks in Missouri, and she's really a standout in that. That's the Jason Bateman show. This might be your chance, your reason to finally check that out.
Look at that, yeah, because she's going to be in this movie. So some people are really excited about this because of the casting. I don't have a dog in that because I don't know her. But maybe when I'm done with Legion, I'll try to make some time and watch at least the first couple episodes of that show. By the way, Austin and I we just did a season overview of Legion, the first season of Legion last night. I had a lot of fun talking about that. This is a fascinating, fantastic show. DJ, if you've not seen this, you need to watch it. I think you would appreciate this quite a bit.
I have, sir.
Oh, have you?
Right here, yes, sir.
You've probably told me about that before, but I don't have a good memory, so...
I love the first season. The second season lost me, unfortunately, but I do love that creator's stuff. He also is in charge of Fargo, which is another wonderful show that you should also watch.
Yeah, I need to finally do that. Fargo's the reason he got Legion.
Yes.
Like, Fox was thinking about making X-Men shows, and they're like, well, this Fargo guy's doing well. Let's give one to him. But anyway, Austin and I are going to try to come back next Friday and do, just a quick plug for this, and do at least the second, if not the third, if we can get all of it binged, and just do a real overview-y, couple-hour discussion on the rest of it. So if you are interested in Legion, if you've seen that show, come check that out. I certainly wouldn't recommend listening to us if you've not watched it, because we're going to spoil everything, and you'll have no idea what we're talking about, because it's very trippy and confusing. But anyway... Quick plug for that whole thing. There are so many like superhero and comic projects that I would love to see him on. Now that I've watched that first season, like Austin and I were talking about all the like weird out there DC stuff that Gunn could be hiring him for. Like he would be great for things like Doom Patrol or Secret Six, or there's all kinds of stuff he'd do really well over there. Martian Manhunter. I think he'd make a really cool Martian Manhunter movie.
Yeah, he's so good. It doesn't even have to be like Fargo's just a crime drama, but it gets surreal in some points. So it fits into a style, but yeah, he's awesome. I don't
know how broad his chops are, so I'm just thinking of him as like wild out there, surreal, impressionistic guy.
There is an episode of season 3 of Fargo that is completely scored by the Peter and the Wolf orchestral soundtrack, and each character has, because you know how in that piece each character has its own instrument that announces them, and like each character in the episode, and they fit perfectly. It's so good.
Is it narrated by Patrick Stewart?
I don't know who it's narrated by. It's definitely not Patrick Stewart.
I had a CD. I had a version of that was narrated by Patrick Stewart.
Oh, I've always listened to the David Bowie narrated version.
Yep, that one's great too. Anyway, back to the news. Back to our lead-in topic. So, yeah, Silver Surfer finally coming to MCU. The character is set to appear in the Fantastic Four, which is set to hit theaters next summer. Will be directed by Matt Shakman from WandaVision. DJ and I have talked at length about a lot of the decisions that we know about so far and how we feel about them, and we've been pretty positive on the news we've gotten so far with this movie. We'll see how DJ feels about this female Silver Surfer thing, but let me finish reading this, and then we'll get into our feelings about it. Now we have confirmation that Julia Garner will bring the beloved character to life. This will be a female take, obviously, according to Deadline. Let's see, expected to begin production in the coming weeks. Oh, I didn't realize we were that close to shooting, or I'd forgotten about that. In an interesting twist, the actress is said to be playing a version, like I said earlier, Shalla-Bal instead of Norrin Radd, but heavily tied to Norrin. Well, yes, because that was his wife, the alter ego, the man who was most associated with Silver Surfer in the pages of the comics, meaning the Silver Surfer. So already we've got this kind of maybe like accidental narrative happening of Silver Surfer as a mantle. Silver Surfer is not a mantle. Like Galactus has different heralds. They're not all Silver Surfers, and I'm a little bit concerned with this, that MCU is going to set this precedent, and they've done this with other characters too, with things that end up being mantles that weren't really before. Where maybe Galactus will. I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe Galactus this in this will have multiple heralds, and they'll all end up being Silver Surfers, and they just pass the Silver Surfer mantle around. A lot of speculation about whether Norrin Radd will even exist in this universe, or if Shalla-Bal is totally replacing him. It seems kind of weird that you would use her if you weren't going to have Radd there at all, so I think it's probably more likely, especially to throw a bone at Silver Surfer fans that will be kind of disappointed with this news, to have Radd there somewhere. Maybe there's a long history where he's already been Silver Surfer and he's passed her the mantle. Maybe she's the first one, and they like reverse it so that instead of Norrin Radd making his deal with Galactus to save her, it's flipped where she saves him. There's a lot of different, possible directions this could go. This goes back into our speculation that in order to get the Fantastic Four into the MCU, it's probably got to be an alternate dimension. We know this is supposed to be a period piece, or certainly looks like a 60s period piece, and so it's possible that in this version of reality, we do this kind of what if flip where it's Shalla-Bal instead of Norrin Radd in the first place, but then maybe in our universe there is a Norrin Radd Silver Surfer, so like you could have multiple dimension versions of them show up together. So like there's a lot of different things that could be done with this, certainly. And I'll just say right off, I'm withholding judgment because we gotta see what the context is of all of it. I have to admit that my initial response is disappointment because I like Silver Surfer. I've always been a fan of that character. I've been waiting 20 years since Rise of the Silver Surfer for a better depiction of him and Galactus to show up on screen. And now it's looking more and more like Galactus is going to be in this movie, and we get saddled with Shalla-Bal as Silver Surfer instead of him, which I guess is better than just a straight up gender swap, but I don't know what it's gonna look like yet. And so initially I'm certainly kind of disappointed. It feels kind of weird that's the direction they're going, but the bigger issue for me, DJ, is it just seems like a really counterintuitive business move. That like you're gonna drum up, and maybe they didn't anticipate this. I think it's naive of them not to anticipate what the discourse has been the last couple of days about this. You're gonna drum up all this controversy before a movie that, in my opinion, you kind of need to save the whole thing. Like, it's a really weird risk to take when you've lost a lot of consumer confidence and a lot of fans aren't with you anymore. So I'm not totally sure what the motivation is behind this. Of course, a lot of people are going to say that it's like social, politically motivated, whatever. I don't want to get into all of that. I just feel like it's kind of an odd business choice. What is your immediate response to it, DJ?
I don't know. I have no response. I've never really gotten into Silver Surfer. I don't know, like you said, we don't know what the story reason is or what their plan is,
or even how important and involved she'll be in the story. Although going with a really well-liked, like apparently Emmy-winning actress and stuff, I'm sure she won't have a small role.
I just hope she keeps her heavy hillbilly trailer park Southern accent from Ozarks. That would be great.
Well, that would be hilarious
if she did that. No, yeah, that's the only thing I've ever seen her in, and she's great at that. So I have no idea what her range is. I don't know what if the character like requires gravitas. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm interested to see what she does with it. This is in the Fantastic Four movie, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll probably see this one. I'm going to see the Fantastic Four. So yeah, I don't have a dog in the fight. I had one Silver Surfer comic as a kid, and that's all I know about Silver Surfer.
And there's certainly going to be a lot of people that are that way about it, that have not read a lot of Silver Surfer and just don't have a big stake in that. Those of us that so this is always a case by case, right? Like, how far, is it okay to go in changing source material and doing, gender flips, or going with different ethnicities, or changing backgrounds, power sets, et cetera, et cetera. It's very, very subjective, and it's going to be up to, each individual person with what they're, what they really care about, what they're really into. For my money, Silver Surfer is an iconic enough character that it does seem, again, really counterintuitive and kind of unfortunate in my mind to stray that far off the page, just because it's a really cool character that I would like to be depicted more or less the way he originally was in the comics, because we haven't really gotten that yet. And I mean, the voice and the look and everything with Rise of Silver Surfer was fine. It just wasn't a good story. So I mean, I guess in that way, like, I kind of have had it, but it's lame because I like it in better context, a better narrative. So for folks that are saying, because I've been hearing a lot of this, what's the big deal? We've had some gender flips in Marvel movies before, and people haven't flipped out as much about them. I mean, there's always, the vitriolic fans and stuff that get upset when we stray anywhere from source material. Again, for me, it's more of a case-by-case thing, and I also have to see the finished product before I can really, get emotional about it or whatever. But we've done this with things like the Ancient One. Like, I liked the female Ancient One. I didn't have a problem with that. I also wasn't a big Doctor Strange person and didn't have a huge dog in that. I didn't mind the choice to go with a female Marvel with Captain Marvel. That was not really the problem with that movie. So, I mean, there's precedent where they've done gender flips. And again, this is not exactly a gender flip. It's taking a different character in that world and making that character Silver Surfer. And what a lot of people have also been pointing to is, well, there's precedent because there's a comic story where Shalla-Bal is the Silver Surfer, which I didn't know about until this news came out. And I looked into it a little bit, and that's apparently not even a 616 canonical story. So it is a little bit odd in my mind to say, well, as long as the comics did it somewhere, you're drawing from source material. That sounds like kind of an excuse to me. I would be really surprised if somebody had read that and is a much bigger Shalla-Bal fan than a Norrin Radd fan, and now we got to do that version. Like, it feels like it's got to be motivated by something else. Like they think that they'll draw more of a crowd, more of a different crowd by having a female Silver Surfer. I'm afraid it's going to backfire on them a little bit, even if it's good. Because already it's stirring up controversy, and now you're dividing the fan base to some degree, and we'll see just how much that actually affects the movie, DJ. But, like, the last thing you want to do right now is divide the fan base. It just, that, on the face of it, on its own, makes it seem like potentially a big mistake to me, regardless of whether I want to see that and how I feel about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Like, you hope it. All you can do is hope that it's story related, that they have a really cool reason for doing it. I kind of liked your hypothesis, I guess, or one solution that they might be doing, where that she gets it first. She's like first Silver Surfer, and then Norrin Radd becomes the Silver Surfer. Kind of like in a similar way that those of us who grew up with the 90s and didn't read the 60s comics, I thought that Hobgoblin came first, and then Green Goblin was the big, like, goblin that came after that. And I thought that for years until I, went back and learned the real way that it happens, the real order. So I don't know. Hopefully they can win us over on it.
That just seems convoluted for not any reason I'm understanding yet. And the thing about it is, if you flip it like that and you have Norrin Radd become Silver Surfer later, it gives her his initial really tragic motivation and has her make the deal with the devil, and then later on he does it, and that just kind of undercuts that character a little bit. It seems like what you're possibly doing, and again, we don't have all the details yet until, the movie comes out and until we get trailers and things, but, like, what it kind of feels like is they know Silver Surfer is popular enough that maybe there would be even more backlash if they full on gender flipped it. If they just went, well, it is Norrin Radd, but he's a girl now, so they're like maybe trying to throw again us Silver Surfer fans a bone by still having him around somewhere. But if he doesn't have his initial impetus for being the Silver Surfer, I don't know if he'll really be himself anymore. Like, then maybe it would have been better if you had just completely replaced the character. And I wouldn't, to be honest with you, I wouldn't get excited about that. But there's a part of me that feels like that's actually maybe what they should have done instead of this. This is much weirder. This is like if you if you take think about it for a second. People that are not big Silver Surfer fans are not going to think about it like this, but he is a big enough, popular enough character. I feel like it's fair to make these comparisons. DJ, it would be like if, because there's a story somewhere in the comics where Lois Lane gets superpowers, we've got precedent, so now she's Superman. Like that's what this would be like.
Yeah, if that is what they do, if they just completely, that if Norrin Radd is just like now he's the mild-mannered reporter husband, it would be better. I would totally be more fine with just making Norrin Radd is a gender neutral name. Like, you could have just swapped it and kept the same. It would have been the same character. Like, I don't really care about the gender, but now we might not get the character that you love, which is a bummer. We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know. It might be a weird thing where like she's basically the character with just a different name, so maybe you could still enjoy it, but.
Yeah, in some ways it would be like I keep going to Superman. It would be sort of like if you introduced Supergirl first.
Yeah, and then made a whole show about it, like 4 seasons.
Yeah, I mean,
gave her all his villains.
In the context of the CW, I've said this before, and I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. In the context of the old CW shows, I always said that's what they should have done, just because it looked like a universe that didn't have a Batman either. So why not? I have, like, if you can't actually put Superman on screen, why not have it be a world where only Supergirl exists? But you want, or at least I do, I want these things to be as close to the definitive versions as possible, and at least for the major characters, like for the most part so far, especially before Phase 4, when more people cared about all of this, we were pretty off the page with a lot of stuff. Sometimes people felt like it was too watered down and not enough for comic fans, et cetera, but we didn't make these kinds of, like, really broad sweeping changes. And, to the point of just taking a mantle and giving it to a different pre-existing character. And it's especially weird to just give it to his wife. Like, I don't care that there's a story where that happens.
Well, and there's a Herald of Galactus that's Nova that we just talked about on the trivia show.
And I would love to see Nova.
Would have been awesome to see on screen. I guess it's got a little repetitive because she's like a flaming person, and we've already got a flaming person in this movie. And I don't mean that she looks in any way other than literally flaming.
Yeah, she looks a lot different though. Like the way her fire moves and everything, and like it's part of her hair and stuff. Like,
yeah, she's got the long hair, which looks cool.
Plus, like, have her fight Johnny Storm. That would look really cool.
That's true.
But anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. I'm not excited or
I don't even have 2 cents.
I'm not excited or jazzed about that news right away, but I'm not like I want to see it and see if it can win me over on it. My bigger concern is that it might actually divide the fan base and affect the box office, and they need a hit with this. Like, besides the X-Men, and we keep talking about this, DJ, but like, besides the X-Men, this is the last big set of really popular characters, at least popular in comics, that they have to really turn the ship around. And Fantastic Four is already something of a hard sell for a lot of people because we've tried it 3 times and it's never worked. It's never been real successful. And so when you start making like these kinds of, to me, like kind of odd, counterintuitive, maybe even sort of pointless changes, it just seems like a weird business move.
Yeah. Sorry, I just was reading our next super chat.
Oh, you're fine.
Fun discussion.
All right, let's go ahead and start taking some questions. DJ, I don't know if you pulled up the Patreon questions from last week, but we didn't actually get to any of those. We still have, I think, or at least we didn't get to many. I think we still have a couple maybe from last month. I haven't put out the prompt yet for this month Patreon, so I'll do that for next week. because I knew we still had at least a couple left. But
Yeah.
if we can finish those off tonight at some point, that would be good.
Sure thing. Real quick, let me get you started on the super chats we have here. Thank you, guys. We've got a $5 super chat from T-Edge1. Isn't it a bit early for SS? What is your greatest accomplishment? What do you want to see from the FF? You guys are awesome.
What is SS?
Isn't it a bit early for SS?
Silver Surfer.
Oh.
I just suddenly got that. Yeah, not necessarily. It depends on if you like what stories you want to see before Galactus, but I mean, Galactus is relatively early in Fantastic Four lore, and we've done the origin thing before, and MCU, with Spider-Man really wanted to get away from that, so it's not surprising they want to do that with this. There are obviously, other things that you could do and establish and like do a big Doctor Doom story before you get to Galactus. I think the coming of Galactus is a fine place to start with Fantastic Four, and I'm biased. I'm partly saying that because I'm desperate to see that on screen, but also because it's a really simple alien invasion story, and if you're bringing Galactus in, he's gonna have a herald. So if it's not too early for Galactus, it's not too early for Silver Surfer, I guess is the way I would put that. And she could certainly show up and be kind of mysterious, and we don't already get her whole backstory and everything. Like, I don't think she'll be sorry, I'm just distracted by the fact that I'm talking about Silver Surfer and saying she. Like, I'm gonna have to get used to that now, I guess. But it's just because they cast like a talented, apparently well-known TV actress, I don't think she's gonna be too minor of a character, but she could totally get more to do later, or she could spin off in her own thing. So yeah, like I don't. It could get really bloated if they decide to jump over to like her perspective and her background and do flashbacks and tell us everything. That would probably be a mistake. But like Galactus is an alien invasion story. It's very simple.
As long as she always has a choice, then I'm good with it. I feel terrible for referencing that horrible film. 2007. You want to answer the second part of that? What is your greatest accomplishment?
Because that's not like self-indulgent and patting yourself on the back to say that. I think the pat obligatory answer is my children. I think that's what you're supposed to say. But the real answer, no, I'm just kidding.
That might be the greatest thing you did for the world, but it wasn't really an accomplishment. Like, speaking from experience, it wasn't that hard to create life. It's actually pretty easy.
Yes, but when you say that, you're not talking about their existence. You're talking about the way they come up, right? And so far, my kids seem pretty cool. So I feel pretty accomplished in raising them so far. So
that could be the murderers that are running around doing the podcast.
That's the thing. And when you have 6, the odds of that go up. Like you increase the chances of one of your kids being a criminal if you have too many.
Yeah, I mean, are you gonna get all 6 of them right? Like that's asking.
It's a tall order. Man, I feel bad for whichever one just gets the low end of the lottery on that. But anyway, professionally, it is probably a tie between Spawnier and the food novel, just as far as the things turned out, not like successes commercially or whatever, but.
Cool. And then what do you want to see? You maybe already answered this from the FF. You guys are awesome. Squeeze 3 questions in there.
Yeah, that was that still Tom's?
Yeah, a lot of bang for his buck.
Oh, I think I missed. I didn't even realize that last part was in there. Well, yeah, I already kind of answered that. For me, it's all about Galactus. As far as how they actually handled the family, a somewhat morally ambiguous Reed Richards without throwing him too far into the bus would be great. That's a thing I always like with him, and I just need a really interesting family dynamic. I'm not super choosy about like what exact version of Fantastic Four we're looking at, because there's a lot of different takes with different runs. Just like with any Marvel character or team, but I feel like FF is one of those things where they have really different flavors depending on who's writing them, and I think my favorite flavor at this point probably is Hickman's. I know Austin and a lot of people want it to be very straight up, Lee and Kirby, and I like a mix of that and some modern stuff.
It kind of sucks that it's not anything to have Spider-Man team up with the Fantastic Four at this point, because he's been in 2 Avengers films and 3 Spider-Man team up films.
Yeah, that won't even be a big deal. Yeah, when he shows up in an X-Men film, you'll be like, well, yeah, I mean, it's Spider-Man. He just always shows up.
That's all he does. He doesn't have his own stories to do.
Yeah, like, can you even do Batman now? Like, it'd be kind of weird to do that now.
No, he's already has an Avengers like Iron Man Spider-Man suit that he can just like nanobot onto himself.
And to be fair, he doesn't even have to wear a mask anymore. Nobody knows who Peter Parker is.
It's true.
He doesn't even need a suit now.
Nobody knows who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
Are we going to have to go through all that? We're going to have the montage. It dresses like a spider, looks like a bug.
I think we are, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a lot of talk that 4 is going to be real soft,
I don't like
rebooty. It'll be like kind of like ironic and odd because there's been a lot of discussion about a potential finally Spider-Man 4 with Raimi. There's also a lot of talk right now that he might get a different MCU movie, and that I saw something the other day where somebody was saying that he wants to direct Secret Wars, but then I guess the quote was actually just he wants to do something with them again. So I don't know if that Spider-Man 4 thing is going to happen, but it would be really odd if you have a real soft rebooty MCU Spider-Man 4, and then Raimi comes back and does his, and it's just this like decades later sequel, but that isn't soft rebooty at all. That just kind of gets back to that world and just does some villains that we never did there.
Yeah.
I bet what's more likely is they'll both be real soft rebooty, right? Where you've got a younger Spider-Man in MCU that like has no like public identity anymore and has to basically completely start from scratch, and then you'd have a middle-aged Peter Parker that has to get back in the game again. So in both of these situations, it's likely that neither wears a costume until the 3rd act.
Oh god! And if Toby says my back in anywhere in the film, I'm walking out. Because he's old, guys.
It's so weird, and you probably don't feel the way. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't know if you feel this way, DJ. I'm in this place, and I didn't think I would say this pre No Way Home. And it's weird how long it's been since that movie came out now. Aren't we in like our 3rd year past that movie now? Like, it's crazy.
2021.
I didn't think I would ever say this. I'm probably twice as interested right now in a Raimi Spider-Man 4 than I am in whatever MCU does next. Partly just because I hated the ending of that movie and I don't care anymore. And like, I want to care, don't get me wrong. Hopefully they can win me back in, but right now I don't care. And with a Raimi Spider-Man 4, I was so impressed with Tobey Maguire's performance in that I'm actually kind of okay seeing him come back and do it again. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. You basically said as much in the review for that. I'm
sorry, I repeat myself a lot.
Just as little interest in either idea. Just keep making them animated Spider-Man movies. I'm fine with those. We got another super chat though from the great and powerful Daw, $9.99.
Oh, thanks, man.
He says, "I dare you to imagine the pitch meeting for Madam Web and keep a straight face." And then he says, "Now reenact that meeting on camera." So you got a little performance you got to do.
Okay, well, I'm going to cop out on this.
I've not seen Madam Web, so I won't be much help.
Okay, I'm going to cop out on this because it is clear that there is no pitch meeting for Madam Web. What happens with Madam Web is Avi Arad walks in with a cocktail napkin with like 5 really stupid notes written down, puts it down on a table, says, "This is what we're doing," and everybody just says, "Okay, whatever, yes, sir." And then they make that.
That's Madam Web, most popular Spider-Man. Remember when I made the 90s show?
Yeah.
She was all over it.
Remember how hugely Remember how everybody remembers her from that show? I mean, that's true, sure, but that doesn't translate to like make it a movie. No, I have no idea what that pitch meeting looks like. And how anybody, like you said, how anybody keeps a straight face in there. But I think somewhere in that pitch meeting, somebody probably says, whoever we cast, make sure they don't know that this is not related to the MCU.
Yeah, the whole pitch meeting was just figuring out how to trick actresses into being in
into being in it. I imagine that pitch meeting actually is probably a lot more like superhero esque, right? Like it probably starts from, let's do a team movie with like spider ladies, and they're gonna be in costume a lot more of the movie. And by a lot more, I mean it's not gonna be just flashes to the future and dream sequences.
Yeah, it had to be we want to do a team movie. We want some female spiders, but we can't do that until we explain Madam Web. I don't understand.
Hey, I want to. Thanks a lot for the super chat. So this is not an official question, but people in the comments right now are talking about the Matrix news, and I do want to weigh in on that. That's another thing I could have done a lead-in topic for. So let me just touch on that briefly. Nobody's going to be real surprised, probably, with my 2 cents on this, because even though I liked 4 more than literally everyone else on the planet, like, people hate that movie. That is now my answer to the somewhat frequent like guilty pleasure movie question. Like, yeah, it's Matrix 4. That's not a great movie, but I thought there was some clever stuff in it, and I enjoyed it more than a lot of other people did. But the news for that this week is Warner's is forcing out a Matrix 5, and Drew Goddard is supposed to be directing it. We'll see if that actually ends up happening. This seems like one of those situations where it's kind of likely that he gets started on it and then backs out at some point, and then Warner's goes through like 42 other directors before the movie actually gets made. But we'll see if I'm wrong about that, and if Goddard actually stays on that project. I think Goddard, maybe you could say this about nearly every like big genre director in Hollywood, DJ, but I feel like Goddard is one of those guys that has a long track record of he almost made this movie. Like, I think that's true with him. So we'll see if this one actually ends up happening. But is it Lana Wachowski? Whichever one directed the last one, I think, is supposed to be involved but not actually directing. And I saw a comment from Connor where he said that a Matrix movie without the Wachowskis is like Indiana Jones without Spielberg or Scream without Craven. I can see why you're saying that. I'm actually, I don't know, like, I don't have any faith in it, and I don't need to see them come back and attempt any more of that. If you were gonna do another one, I actually, and maybe this is blasphemy or whatever, I actually would kind of like to maybe see new blood on it, because the whichever Wachowski made the last one seemed to have a particular story and idea that she wanted to tell, and didn't seem to have anything else past that, and it seemed to be this kind of satire of movies that studios force out as safe bets, trying to like rekindle old franchises or keep franchises alive forever. I don't know that either Wachowski is going to have anything else to say in that universe, and I do think that this is not what they'll do, but I do think that there's potential for a Matrix reboot that could be really cool. Or, I don't usually say let's make prequels with things, but going back to the Machine War and like the first Matrix and all of that, there's a movie there. There's actually a trilogy maybe of movies there, and that would be the only thing that would really perk my ears up to go back to the Matrix. It's a weird thing to reboot because the original was such a game changer for Hollywood and is considered such a classic now that, like, I don't want it, but I feel like the most potential you would have in doing another one would be that, or going back and doing a prequel thing. And then the other thing, so like they should just leave well enough alone. But like if you're gonna do it, the other thing about Connor's comment is, but you already lost one of them. It was a duo in the first place, and that last movie didn't really in some ways it didn't really feel like a Matrix movie. And some of that was also because it was missing that quality of action. Like the fights are just kind of bad. So like it's already missing some stuff in the first place with that last one. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. I can't get excited about another one of those. It also feels like it's kind of inevitable that everything comes back, and even things that came back already, they're gonna come back again until the Hollywood system eventually finally burns completely to the ground. We will keep doing every like 15, 20 years. That thing that got a really bad soft reboot or a remake or something that you thought, okay, surely this is done. It's still going to come back again. It's like we've got another generation coming up that didn't see the crappy RoboCop remake, or
I was thinking RoboCop when you said that. Wow, that's crazy.
Or the last terrible Terminator movie or whatever, and then we're gonna come back and do it again. Like there's so many of these are coming out just this year, and I know it feels like every year is like this. This year is really like this. You had Ghostbusters, you've got Beetlejuice coming, which I'm actually excited about. I think that looks potentially really good. But then you've got the Karate Kid. Like we're doing this with everything. And if these things suck, don't just give another 15 years and they'll come back again.
Yeah, there's an interesting video, like remakes or like reboots that were like the second reboot where it took a couple tries to get life back into it.
Yeah. That's not a long list. I mean, you mean like a couple tries where then they got it right the second time, or just where they keep attempting it? Like, is quality important in this conversation?
Well, yeah, I mean, at least like, I guess like Ghostbusters is an example where you don't like that Afterlife movie, but it did better than the fourth one or third one. I can't even keep track.
Third, yeah.
So many Ghostbusters.
Well, remake.
Yeah, that was a remake. This is a reboot. But now it seems to be working. But now this one's just kind of bland, middle of the road.
Well, I liked this one okay. I'm not sure if it holds up at all on repeat viewings, but it's a moot point because it looks like it's going to lose money. So they're probably done again.
Oh, man.
Austin sent me a message. He was like, so Ghostbusters will never get past 2 movies then. That's where we're at now.
We could have a trilogy of 2 movies. That would be interesting. The first one of those.
Well, yeah, but that's not even true with Ghostbusters, because you had the original 2, and then you had a flop of a remake. And
yeah,
then
but nobody talks about that one. That one's
and then you have a
erased.
Yeah, but I mean, you would have to come back again years later and either remake it again or soft reboot it again for it to count as we tried it 3 times.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Saw it.
Because that's still technically in the same continuity, the new stuff.
Yeah. Well, in 20 years, we soft reboot the female one, and then that gets a sequel.
Oh, God.
Like, it's the most convoluted franchise of all time.
Yeah, let's go in an even more off the beaten path direction and give it a cartoon show 20 years later.
Yeah, there you go. We'll go full circle.
What we're trying to do is make something that no one will watch. It's like when I try to do a video that gets 0 views.
You can't do it. You even made a video about how you're giving up on making videos.
Yeah, and people still even watched that. That was a joke, by the way. That's not true. I'm still making at least whatever this is. But DJ, there are some examples recently, especially with streaming services just like pumping out content to keep subscribers, where it does feel like sometimes we make things that where I can't imagine any executive or producer or director thinking anybody would actually watch it, like the Megamind sequel that is still at 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think.
Is that officially a DreamWorks DreamWorks Animation Studios picture?
Yeah. It went direct to streaming, but and it's a pilot for a show.
I'm so mad at you, DreamWorks. You put out the best animated movie of 2 years ago with Puss in Boots, and like everyone was like, "Oh, DreamWorks is back," and then they've put out Nothing. They put out that mermaid movie. They put out Kung Fu Panda 4.
Well, when you said official, like I don't think it's actually DreamWorks making it, but I think it's supposed to count. Like, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I'm just saying, is it like is it their studio doing it, or do they put it off on like a lower studio? I'll have to look into it.
I'm sure they
yeah.
put it on a lower studio, but and of course, like I don't think anybody came back voice wise.
Yeah. No, I mean,
And
yeah.
if it's not Will Ferrell, who cares? Like even if and the script is apparently abysmal, but like even if it was good, it's gonna make it feel like a knockoff. Like you don't really want anybody else doing that.
Yeah, there's certain animated roles that you can recast, but like if it's a big famous comedian with a very specific style, that's the lead, maybe don't recast that. Don't Return of Jafar it.
Yeah, that's the example I was going to use. And that guy does as good of a job as he can in trying to emulate Robin Williams, but it's such a specific style.
Oh, breaking news. Alex Barron says Megamind 2 is actually at a whopping 9% now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
it's about to break double digits, everyone.
They paid someone.
There's a special place in hell for Megamind sequel shills.
I think that's the most pathetic title you could possibly have. Well, we're out of super chats. Do you see any good pre-written questions, or do you want to go to Patreon?
Yeah, I got this one Patreon that came in after you sent him to me the first time from Sakib. Very serious here. He says, Times New Roman is the worst font type. We need to retire it. Yay or nay?
I respectfully disagree with that, and I know you've unsubscribed, and we'll never we'll never talk again, Sakib. But I like Times New Roman for
nostalgia.
No, I was good. Right, I have a serious answer, so leave me alone. No, I still use it in like my writing workshop and like writing prose and stuff. It's just readable. It's just easy to look at. Times New Roman, and also it's because that's what we had to use all through high school and college, and you get really used to looking at that. So there's just not a lot of other fonts that I want to look at for like a paper or prose or like any kind of manuscript. So 12 Times New Roman, 12-point, double spaced, 12 or 14, I guess, because I don't have the best eyesight, so it's nice if it's bigger. I can just zoom in on it too. But anyway, yeah, so it's not a good font type for like titles, but it's fine for everyday writing. Like I don't want to look at Helvetica.
So Cap's a serif guy. He's not a sans serif guy. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I mean she's attractive enough, but
Serif Lance.
No, sans serif, the love interest for what's his name? The Spirit.
Oh, wow. Deep cut there.
Yeah. See, I got a superhero pull there.
Good. I can always count on you to bring it back around. The rest of these, I think we talked about what if Zack Snyder did MCU.
See, people think anybody could sit in this chair and do my job.
Oh, no. It takes a special kind of human.
I'm like Will Ferrell, man. If somebody else came in here and tried to do this regularly, it'd be 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Exactly. The ratio of thumbs down will be 91%.
But in fact, wow, good math on the fly there.
Well, that's my job. So your job is to come up with geeky things. My job is to do the math and read the words.
Yeah, and I couldn't do that. and then we find that the actual worst possible title that you could end up with is Geekvolution Shill. It's like, you got paid to give this a good review?
Yeah, well, they wouldn't even be reviews. It'd just be good comments. Getting paid to leave us good, positive comments.
Yeah, that's even worse, actually. That's pretty sad.
I think we got to the rest of these. Best or longest good writing streak on comics. The Star Wars question, how it would have been different if it was Tim Burton instead of George Lucas. Maybe this last one, if you could pick a filmmaker who hasn't worked for Marvel yet and given them any character who would they be and what book would you give them? But I think we may have done that.
I think maybe we did that one.
I think we did all these other ones.
Whoever wrote that, if we didn't, ask it again, and I'll make sure and get to it this month. But
I think I did. We definitely did, because he ended it with, personally, I think Nolan Daredevil movie could be pretty.
Yes,
cool.
yes,
Then,
we did cover that. Okay,
all
cool.
right, so I'll go back to pre-written.
So we're caught up, and I'll try to make sure to get the prompt out next week for Patreon. Quick plug for that: if you want to get a question in before the show because you can't make it live, or you just want to make sure that I talk about your question, patreon.com/geekvolution. Just the $2 tier lets you throw in at least a question a month. And I'll try to keep up with it a little bit better this month and cycle through them a little bit quicker. Go ahead, DJ. So we did get through all of them, but sometimes we do more than that. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Dance Den, Cap, and me. Well, he doesn't say that. This is a different one. What's the one song or theme that always gets you excited?
Well, everybody knows what mine is.
You're going to do it for us?
I'm just a broken record. It's the Ottman X-Men theme.
And also the other one that you love that you sometimes get confused is dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah.
That has been ruined by all the Tobey Maguire in the airport memes.
See, this is why I stay off the internet, except for when we're doing this. I haven't seen any of that.
It's actually hilarious.
And thank God.
It's like a meme where it shows Toby and Andrew in public, and they're just like, hey, they're like all happy-go-lucky, like giving people handshakes and high fives and stuff, and then it goes to grumpy Toby in public, and he's like, dun 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 dun. It's like evil Spider-Man music.
No, that one's like, wonderful. The other one is I don't know that I get like super excited in the same way that I do with X2, but like if I'm forced to sit down and watch Spider-Man 3, we get to that, and I'm like, oh yes, that's right, the one thing I like about this movie.
Yeah.
That's not wholly fair, but yeah, and now I'm gonna get all the Spider-Man 3 hate again. Look, I'm sorry, folks. It's not a good movie, I don't think. But then I don't know. Another one would be the Lex Luthor BVS theme. Bomb, 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 bomb. And then as far as like regular music goes, because he said themes or songs, I'll take this out of movies for a minute. And I talk about this all the time, but my favorite band is They Might Be Giants, and I'm like really into Team BG to the point now where Jason and I are actually starting a Team BG cover band. And we've talked about doing this forever, and we've started practicing. We've got a set list figured out now, DJ. We're actually getting pretty far into this now, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm playing percussion and singing, and Jason has gotten really proficient on the ukulele, so we finally have chords, and so we're gonna have like this acoustic Team BG duo, and we might be trying to bring in Jeff to play keyboards or something with it too. So anyway, that's gonna be fun. We'll do a stream at some point for the 3 people that will care, and we'll do a concert on the channel with it. But anyway, with Team BG, there's a song on the record Mink Car that I always get excited about, and sometimes I'll just randomly start singing after a song because I want it to be the next song after every song. It's a song called Drink, which has one of the greatest opening lines of all time, which goes, "I'll take back my pinata, it's wasted on you." I get really excited when I hear that. Everybody go look at that. So go look at Drink by They Might Be Giants. It's a wonderful song. Any song with the word pinata in it is a great song.
I used to I've talked about it before. Tick Tick Boom really, really, really struck a chord with me. I love that movie. That was my favorite movie of 2021, and it's a musical. And the opening song of that movie, 3090, I used to like blast that song right before I shot a video to like get my energy levels up. Like if I was feeling like sometimes you go to shoot a video and you're just like, crap, this is going to be a boring video because I don't feel like my
that's why I do energy level live now
is high enough.
I don't have the option to stop,
so I would just blast 3090 and sing at the top of my lungs, and then I'd be good to shoot a video.
I'm glad you reminded me about that movie because I started it at one point and then I got distracted and I wasn't able to finish it. I got to go back to that. I watched the first half an hour, but I never got back to it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. All right, what else do we have? This is from John Henry. What's the technology looking like for phone-volution? Will rotary dial phones make a comeback, where it'll be like we'll be living in the mixed technology of Batman TAS universe.
Well, no, because phone evolution is all about simply having a device where you can be lazy and press a button and say whatever's on your mind and then quit. And if we start getting into older forms of technology, then I can't be as lazy and I have to actually like go buy those things. And then like what do you do with them on the channel? Like a rotary phone in and of itself you can't use to stream with. So am I just reviewing them or showing them or like talking to someone through a rotary phone while filming that with my phone? Is that what I'm doing? So no, you're taking phone volution too literally. The point is that the volution happens simply inside of my phone.
Here's a fun one by Alex Barron, a throwback here. Which movie is more incomprehensible, Batman Returns or BVS?
Oh, easily BVS. I know what's happening in Batman Returns. I just think it's kind of stupid. Now, I will say that the Penguin. You know, I've talked about this ad nauseum a million times, but like the Penguin's motivations are definitely incomprehensible. They change every couple of scenes. And I don't think that movie has any idea why Bruce Wayne is doing half the things he's doing too. But like, you know, the plot such as it is. I mean, it's a dark black comedy Saturday morning cartoon plot, and BVS is an absolute incomprehensible mess. That's easy. That's
BVS
really easy.
Would have been better if it was just a Saturday morning cartoon plot.
Absolutely. Yeah, the problem with that is the pretentiousness of it. It's so self-serious and self-important.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, still haven't seen Aquaman 2 yet, but I saw a random clip today, and oh my god, what is that movie? It was the clip where they're like running through the jungle from giant grasshoppers.
Yeah.
And it looks horrible. It
Yeah.
looks like a Journey movie. You know those Journey movies starring like Josh or what's his face? PETA from the Hunger Games. He did those Journey to the Center of the Earth movies.
It does look
with
that
Brendan
bad.
Fraser, and it looks like a ride. Like the special effects look like a. Oh, it looked horrendous. It's like they were just running around.
It's rare to see a movie that looks that unfinished that comes out that late.
Yeah,
you had so much time.
It didn't look unfinished. It looked like it was a choice to make it look like a straight up cartoon. I was like,
but when you see the rest of it, it's so inconsistent too. And I talked about this when we reviewed it. But by the way, this isn't even the worst of the problems with that movie. It's just kind of a dull, nothing script, I think. And Momoa was obnoxious, but it has his seahorse, and it looks absolutely atrocious when we first see it, when he's writing it, where I'm like, nothing in this frame looks like it's all together, and the seahorse like looks flat, and then they sort of book in with it because they don't do a lot with the seahorse, thank God, because it looks terrible. But then you get to the end of the movie and you see him again, and then he looked fine. I was like, what is happening? And it was the same creature.
That's so weird.
At least that was to my eye on one viewing, which is all I want to have with that movie. But because of the stupid commentary project, I guess I'll have to watch it again at some point.
Yeah, I was just like, whoa! Like, there's the scene where like he knocks
bye, Connor.
Statue over.
I don't know if Connor responded to everything I was saying about the Matrix earlier when I was sort of half arguing with him. So sorry about that, Connor, that I didn't get back to that. By the way,
scared him away with Aquaman talk.
Quick plug. For something I'm doing with Connor. Next Monday night, at least this is the plan right now, Connor and I, and probably Jason and Austin also, so it'll be that panel again, are gonna try to talk about the new Godzilla Kong movie, because Austin and Connor have both seen it, and Jason's really excited about it. I don't really care, but I'm gonna go because my friends want to see it, and so we'll talk about it.
Your friends already all have seen it. It's been interesting.
Well, Jason's my son, but yeah, he hasn't seen it yet.
On Letterboxd, I've seen like John and Connor and Austin and everybody, Spencer. Everybody's watching that movie, and they're all having different, kind of similar but slightly different reactions to it.
It sounds a little mixed.
Yeah.
Hey, we are right at an hour. Do you have maybe one more cool pre-written you want to throw at us, or? Sorry, I was interrupting you. Maybe you had something else you wanted to say that was like really deeply profound.
No,
and I
no.
talk, and I
I
just
have
stepped all over
nothing
it.
to say about that franchise. I haven't seen the last three. I stopped at Kong Skull Island.
I might as well not have, because I mean I saw them, but like
You have no memory at
I
all.
don't remember that. I wasn't. I don't know how much attention I was even paying to them. Like I can't get excited about that franchise. And I've never been a big Godzilla guy in the first place, but I have more of an appreciation for the Japanese stuff than I ever used to, which is making me even less interested in this stuff. That's the problem. Is like after we get -1 last year, why on earth do I want to watch an American Godzilla movie? It's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
And apparently, what I've heard about this one, I haven't seen it myself, but what I've heard is it shouldn't even have Godzilla in it. It should just be a Kong movie.
That's what I've heard too.
Godzilla's kind of superfluous, or not. It would have been better without him. So that's not what you want.
And it's fun that they're doing, supremely silly things like giving him a giant robot arm and stuff. But like, I don't know. I just don't need America to do that stuff.
Yeah, I can't get excited.
Now, I guess Kong is an American thing in the first place, so that's not fair. But, like, I don't have any attachment to King Kong. Like, I never saw much of the original. People have given me crap about that. I should finally actually sit down and sit through that. I've never really done that. But, I just have no attachment to it.
The Kaiju Kong came from Japan, and that's the reason why it happened. Because they did the original Godzilla versus Kong, so...
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which is... not really based on the 33 movie much, besides it having a giant ape. I think we're good. I think we can ask. I'll ask this one real quick because it's kind of on theme with the Matrix discussion earlier. Dan wants to know, what would you do if it turned out your life was a simulation?
What was that emphasis?
Well, he didn't say what would you do. He just said, what if it turned out your life was a simulation?
You were doing almost like a Chandler Bing with it. What if you found... Honestly, I'm at a point...
life be more of a simulation?
I'm at a point in my life where I'm not sure how much it would actually surprise me. Be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I don't know, life's so bizarre, and like nothing shocks me anymore. It's like, of course it's all built in a computer. As far as like, how I would handle it, like if you're asking the red pill, blue pill question, like would you go to the real world or stay in the lie or whatever? I think I'm one of those people that probably couldn't go around and pretend. Like even if I know I would enjoy my life better if I just stayed where I was. Like I think no matter how terrible the other side was, I would not be able to help myself but to just put up with it and go there. I think I'm that person.
Wow. Don't sign me up for that. I'm going to stay and play with my kids and sleep with my wife and be happy. I'm not going to go live in some bunker somewhere and eat garbage food for the rest of my life.
DJ knows this steak is not real, but his brain tells him that it's delicious.
Exactly. My body will react to the pleasures of the world as it always has. Humans are very good at evolving to their surroundings, and I'll be fine. Give me a couple months, and I'll be back to normal.
Yeah, I don't think I would have that. I think I'd have the WandaVision thing, where I'd be like some of those townspeople, where I would keep like clawing my way out, and you'd have to force me back in. Like,
yeah, there we go.
It would just be too twisted. It'd be I know my wife is not real. I don't think I'd be able to handle that.
Have you bought WandaVision yet?
And what does tasty wheat really taste like? I'm sorry, what?
Have you bought WandaVision yet? I haven't bought it yet.
No.
They have it at Walmart now. Walmart has supplanted Best Buy and taken over. I don't know if you've heard about it. And
Target. I mean, if Walmart decides to stay in physical media, they're going to have the monopoly, because everybody else is getting out. Well,
I mean, literally, like all the exclusive steelbooks that used to go to Best Buy are going to Walmart now.
Where else would they go? And Target's not going to have their exclusives anymore either. Which
Target doesn't do anything anymore.
Which is kind of whatever, because they stopped being great like 3 years ago.
Yeah, they don't even do anything anymore. I haven't bought anything from Target in forever. But yeah, Walmart has the.
Well, they still have their exclusives. They're just lame, or they did up until this year. But like they were just kind of lame. I don't know. They stopped being as cool as they used to be.
Yeah, they've been pretty crappy for a while. But yeah, I saw the WandaVision 4K Steelbook at Walmart the other day. I was like, oh, I should finally get that. That's one that I would like that, and I would like if they would do a Hawkeye one. They skipped Hawkeye and went straight to Moon Knight and put out a Steelbook. They're about to put out a Steelbook for that one for some reason.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with all that. I'll get those eventually, but I don't know. I've been putting my money in other places lately, and I haven't been keeping up as hard with the physical superhero stuff. Mostly because a lot of what I have to, well, some of it's because I've been so into tabletop the last couple of years, and some of it is because, so that's where a lot of my money's been going, but some of it is because most of what I have to buy is terrible. So I put it off.
They just got a 4K, Shout just released a 4K of Darkman.
Oh, I might have to get that. That's cool.
You have to go for the old classic stuff.
That's a movie I've got to replace.
Yeah, I'd like to maybe pick that one up. I like more the off the beaten path like stuff. Although that one had a couple sequels, it wasn't just. Someone needs to do The Crow. They haven't done The Crow yet.
Yeah, and I never got that really cool RoboCop release they did. I've still got to jump on that.
Oh yeah, that's probably a pretty penny at this point.
I saw it not too long ago for the same price it came out at. I don't think that's gotten like scalped yet or anything, but
okay.
Hopefully you're wrong, because
well, it depends on which version. I know
it's really cool, and I should have grabbed it when it came out. But
Arrow does big limited edition versions that usually. There's a Flash Gordon one that's like the cheapest I can get it right now is $120. So I have not gotten it yet. But that's my life. That's why I wouldn't leave. Maybe I would leave the simulation. I wouldn't have to pay so much for out of print physical media anymore.
Well, anyway, thanks a lot for watching, folks. We sure appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and get going, but we'll see you again next week. Same time, same channel. I was Captain Logan. This was DJ Martinez.
Me, formerly known as the Welder.
Oh, and real quick, Austin and I tomorrow night are going to come back with the Superhero Commentary Project, and this time we are doing a commentary on the Powerpuff Girls movie, so come check that out. Austin has never seen an episode of Powerpuff Girls, and I think he's just going to go in blind and have no idea what he's looking at, so hopefully that whole commentary isn't just me explaining the formula of Powerpuff Girls to Austin. But it'll be interesting to see what his response is, not knowing the show. I don't know if he'll like it or not with no familiarity, but we'll see.
I love that the only Powerpuff Girls he's ever going to have seen is on the background in Blade 2. That's all. Because I know he's seen Blade 2.
Yep, that's true.
That's all he's got.
Well, anyway, thanks again, folks. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.